On a cold Christmas Eve, in the heart of a city glittering with festive lights and the laughter of families, a man sat alone on a cold bench outside an empty office building. His expensive suit was rumpled, his face hidden in his hands, and silent tears streamed down his cheeks. No one noticed the CEO of one of the largest companies in the country, a man who had everything except the one thing money couldn't buy: love and belonging. His life, once full of ambition and promise, had quietly unraveled into loneliness and regret. And there, in that quiet moment of despair, a small voice interrupted the silence. "Don't cry, mister. You can borrow my mom." The words came from a little girl, no older than 7, her eyes wide and full of innocent kindness, shining brighter than all the Christmas lights around them. If you believe in the power of kindness, second chances, and miracles that come when you least expect them, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. This story is for anyone who has ever felt alone or broken and needs a reminder that hope is never lost. The man looked up, startled, meeting the gaze of the little girl who was holding a tiny, worn-out teddy bear. Her cheeks were flushed from the cold, and her simple coat looked like it had seen better days. Yet in that moment, she was a beacon of warmth and hope. The CEO wiped his tears quickly, unsure how to respond, but something about the child's genuine offer stirred something deep inside him. John Matthews was a man who had spent most of his life climbing the corporate ladder. From a modest childhood with his own mother struggling to make ends meet, John had promised himself he would never feel powerless again. He worked relentlessly, building a business empire from scratch, making tough decisions and sacrificing personal connections. Over time, the demands of his career consumed him, divorcing him from his family, friends, and ultimately, his own happiness. By the time he reached the pinnacle of success, John realized he was utterly alone. Christmas was the hardest. The holiday, once full of joy, now echoed with the absence of the warmth and love he had pushed away. That evening, after a long day of meetings and holiday parties he didn't want to attend, John had wandered the city streets. His mind was heavy with memories and regrets. When he finally stopped to rest, he didn't expect to encounter a stranger who would remind him of his lost humanity. The little girl, whose name was Emma, lived just a few blocks away in a small, cramped apartment with her single mother. Her life was far from easy. Her mother worked multiple jobs to keep the family afloat. But Emma carried within her a spirit of compassion and hope that belied her young age. She understood loneliness because she had known it herself. When she saw the man crying on the bench, something inside her whispered that he needed kindness, maybe even a family, just like she did. John hesitated. Borrow her mom. The absurdity of the offer was touching and heartbreaking all at once. Yet in that moment, something fragile and beautiful blossomed inside him, the faint glimmer of connection. Emma's mother, Mrs. Lopez, was a woman whose heart was as big as her worries. She welcomed the stranger into their modest home with a warmth that seemed to thaw the cold that had settled in John's soul over the years. Over the following days, John found himself drawn into the simple, unpretentious life of Emma and her mother. He helped with chores, shared stories, and even laughed again. It was a life he had long forgotten existed outside boardrooms and business deals. Their home was small but filled with love, and for the first time in years, John felt the lightness of belonging. But the story wasn't just about finding warmth on a cold night. It was about confronting the shadows of the past. John faced the painful truth of his estrangement from his own family. He reached out to his mother, a woman he hadn't spoken to in years, afraid and hopeful all at once. Their reunion was tentative but powerful, two broken hearts trying to heal with time and forgiveness. Emma's simple act of kindness became a turning point. It reminded John that wealth was meaningless without connection, and success was hollow without love. The CEO who once measured life in profits now valued moments, moments of laughter, forgiveness, and genuine human connection. The magic of that Christmas Eve extended far beyond one night. John's life transformed not because of his business triumphs, but because he learned to open his heart again. He became a better son, a caring friend, and most importantly, a man who understood that family comes in many forms. Emma's gift to him, the offer to borrow her mom, was not just about companionship. It was about the gift of hope, the courage to change, and the healing power of kindness. If this story touched your heart and reminded you of the beauty that kindness can bring, please show your love by liking, commenting, and sharing this video. Your support means the world and spreads hope to others who need it. Before we end, I'd love for you to share in the comments. Have you ever experienced a moment where a simple act of kindness changed everything? Your stories inspire us all. As the snow gently fell outside that night, John looked at Emma and Mrs. Lopez and felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: peace. It was a Christmas miracle born not of gifts or grandeur, but of compassion and the simple, profound truth that no one is truly alone when we open our hearts to others. And so, on that cold Christmas Eve, a CEO who once sat alone crying on a bench found a family, not through business, but through the extraordinary kindness of a little girl who reminded him that sometimes the greatest gifts in life are the ones we borrow from the hearts of strangers.